Hello everyone, I am Archana Dungadevi. So in the previous lecture, we discussed about the list methods, the list data type, list sequence data type, and in that we discussed the number of methods also. Okay, so already we discussed that number of methods. Okay, one by one we discuss. Now the next sequence data type we have to discuss, that is the tuple. Okay, so the tuple is what we have the different methods that see this is the method that tuple how we represent the tuple. See in the it is again the sequence data type which is added in terms of the sequence data type. Then in the mutable version of the list, it is a mutable version of the list. That means what, tuple is exactly same as the list, but except that it is the immutable. That means once we create the tuple object, we can't change or we can't perform the any operations inside the tuple objects. Okay, so hence the tuple is what, only the read only version. We can't write anything or we can't update that tuple objects after that. Okay, so it is called as the immutable. Tuple is the immutable. List is mutable. We can add, we can update the list elements, but inside the tuple, once we create the tuple object, we can't change it. Okay, and whatever the changes we are creating, or see after that the next is what, the tuple is round brackets parenthesis optional. That means we are represent that tuple we can represent like this by using the parenthesis like this. Okay, so this parenthesis is optional. You can write the parenthesis, but the comma separated values are required inside the tuple while the representation. Suppose I am writing here 1 comma 2 comma 3, so this is what the tuple. Okay, and again I can write here that the t is equals to, how I write the tuple, that t is equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma. So if it is the comma separated values are present inside this of the one data type, then it is called as the tuple. Okay, so here the parenthesis is optional, but remember that this thing is required. The comma separated values are required. Okay, duplicate elements are not allowed inside the tuple. As in case of the list, the duplicate elements are allowed, but in case of the tuple, the duplicate elements are not allowed. Insertion order is preserved. Index wise values we have to add, so the insertion order is preserved. Okay, then heterogeneous objects are allowed. That means any data type we can add inside the list. Then the insertion order is method. And okay, so these all are the features. These all are the features of the tuple. Okay, so it is same as the list. Only the difference in between this is what, it is a immutable. These are the mutable. List is the mutable, but the tuple is the immutable version of this list. Okay, so these are the different what we say, the features of the tuple as compared with the list. Now we discuss the number of methods are there for the list. That the methods are count, index, then we have the copy again, yes, sorted, yes, this all we can say length, all are the methods of the tuple also. So we discuss that methods one by one. Okay, so already we discussed this 11 methods of the list and the list data type. Okay, so same way we have to discuss the methods of the tuple also. So see here we have the number of methods we already discussed for the list data type. In that see, I think almost 11 to 12 methods we discussed in the previous lecture. That is length, append. Append is what, length is what, for calculating the number of elements. Append is for adding the last elements, or a when if we want to add the one element at the end, we use the append method. And if I want insertion or index wise I want to add the elements, so at that time I use the insert method. Extend, to extend one list with the another list. To clear the elements of the list, I use the clear method. To copy the one list to another list, I use the copy method. For finding the count of the particular variable, I have to use the count method. Index, if I want to find out the index of the particular variable, use the index method. Insert, index wise, if I want to add or insert the element, so I use the insert method. Pop is what? It will remove and return the last element of the list using the pop method. Remove is used for specific elements of the list. Sort is used for sorting the elements from the of the list. Okay, because it is what the insertion order is preserved inside the list, so already by default it will sort by the ascending order. Okay, but if we want to sort it in the descending order, you have to put here reverse is equals to true. Okay, and the separate reverse method is also used for reversing the elements of the list by using the reverse method. Okay, so these all are the the list methods that we discussed in the previous lecture. Now we discuss the tuple method. So the tuple is what? The list, it is same as a list data type, except it is the immutable data type. Okay, so in this way we can use this list. You initialize the tuple t is equals to 10, 34, 64. Likewise, you can initialize the tuple and you can print it. Okay, the methods for the tuples are length, count, index, sorted, minimum and maximum. These are the methods for the tuple. Length, as you know that length is used to find out the number of elements which is present inside the tuple. Okay, so if I want to find out the count for that, how many number of elements are present inside the tuple, I use print length of t. Okay, count method is used for counting the particular element, counting the occurrence of particular element. I use the count method, that t is equals to 10, 20, 30, 40, 10. So I want to print the count of that particular element. I use print t dot count of 10. Index, what is the function of the index? Index is what? To return the index of the occurrence of the variable. For finding the index of the particular variable, we can use the index function. Okay, or index method of the tuple. So this is what you can directly find out, that print t dot index of 3. This is a tuple, I represent this as a tuple, initialize it. Okay, and from this index, from this tuple, I want to find out the index of 3. So I use here t dot, write down the name of the method index, and after that the element. Okay, for which element I want to find out the index, you have to write that variable after the method. Okay, so it will print that what is the index of this 3. As the index is always started from 0, so it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is all about the 5. Okay, and inside it the index for the 5 of it is 0 and 5 of its 2 is the 1. Okay, so it is 5, 0 and 5, 1. So now I am getting here, if I want to print here the index, so what I get here, the index of the 3 is 1. Now sorted is what? Again, by the natural sorting order, by default the natural sorting order is ascending order. So if I want to sort that elements of the list, I use here the sorted method, not a sort method. I have to use a sorted method. So if I initialize here t is equals to 50, 30, 20, 40, and then I want to print here that t1 is equals to sorted of t. So it will print that all, or by sorting the elements from this tuple and print that by sorting it. Okay, it sort all the elements which is present inside the tuple. Then next is the minimum and maximum. Maximum is used to find out the value, minimum value and the maximum value from this tuple. Okay, so mean of t, if I want to find out, this is our tuple and I want to find out the minimum value from this and maximum value from this. So I use the mean function for finding the minimum value and max function for finding the maximum value. Okay, so this only 5 to 6 methods are present inside the tuple. As this is what generally we are using the list, set and the dictionary data types. Mostly we are working on it. In the case of the tuple, as the functionality of the list and the tuples both are the same. So